Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Russell here, and today Justin Trudeau and the Liberal government dropped their full election platform, a 75-page document going through all of their policy changes, and inside of that, well, they made some changes to the OAS and GIS programs, things that many Canadians rely on to get by. So in today's video, not only will we be going over these changes proposed by the Liberals, but we'll also be going over all of the other plans and promises made by the other political parties when it comes to support for seniors. But before we do, make sure to check out the link in the description for the Canada Money Mastery program where we talk about building wealth right here in Canada. And as a reminder, that price will be going up on that course as we get set to add more content. But as always, course members get access to all future content for free. But now let's get into this information. We're going to start with the Conservatives and what exactly they have planned for seniors in Canada. The first thing that the Conservatives are proposing is to amend the home accessibility tax credit by increasing the limit from $10,000 per dwelling to $10,000 per person. Essentially what this is a program that's designed to help seniors stay in their homes for longer by allowing them to deduct $10,000 of income at their income taxes so that they can pay less tax when it comes time for tax season. The idea here is that they're going to increase that to per person. So if you have two people living inside of a home, you might be able to claim $20,000 of income when you combine these together instead of $10,000 of income. Now, depending on what your tax rate is, that only works out to about like 15 to 30% usually of that $10,000. So really that looks more like $1,500 to $3,000 worth of savings. Then the Conservatives propose creating a brand new benefit called the Canada Seniors Care Benefit, paying $200 per month per household to any Canadian who's living with and taking care of a parent over the age of 70. Again, this is a large emphasis on trying to make sure that seniors can avoid having to live in long-term care homes, as those are getting more and more packed as this bulk of the population ages. Now, living with is pretty self-explanatory, but it gets a little more subjective when they say taking care of a parent. They didn't really give any details on how exactly they determine that someone is actually being taken care of. But again, that could lead to $2,400 to help support seniors. Now here they say that they want to make sure that seniors who are deciding to continue working for whatever reason are making enough to make ends meet, and the way that they do that isn't very senior specific. It's more just leaning on other promises that they've made that will affect all Canadians here, such as doubling the Canada Workers Benefit up to a maximum of $2,800 for individuals or $5,000 for families. Now currently the Canada Workers Benefit is just a tax deduction that you can make at tax time and receive it just once a year when you receive your tax returns. But what the Conservatives want to do is transition that away from a tax credit and make it actually a quarterly direct deposit that would go straight to seniors' bank accounts. And to summarize this section, essentially they're saying that pensions in Canada are at risk if the people managing them don't do a good job or the company that they're managed under goes out of business. What they're saying here is that they want to introduce legislation that takes away some of these risks and more regulates that sector to make sure that Canadians who have pensions are protected. Now we're going to take a look at what the NDP has to say and how that plan sort of contrasts from the Conservatives. But one thing that is the same between them is that for these plans, they're very much leaning on promises that they're making to all Canadians and just explaining how that will help seniors rather than making changes to the individual programs that the Liberals do. And we're going to touch on them in just a moment. But for now, let's get into this NDP platform or this campaign platform and exactly what it has to say. Now, one thing I will say is that this platform is a little bit scant on the details on how these things would actually pan out, but the first thing that they want to promise is to create a national senior strategy to help work with the provinces, territories, and Indigenous governments to make seniors' healthcare a larger priority, reducing isolation, tackling seniors' poverty. Not sure entirely what they're going to do in terms of this and what that national senior strategy would look like, but they're saying, hey, we're going to create this strategy. Then they lean on their National Pharmacare for All program, sort of explaining how this could help seniors, saying that it would save seniors hundreds of dollars every year, ensuring that no one need to choose between medicine and other essentials, and as well the same or the very similar dental care plan to the Pharmacare for All plan, and that would make it so that uninsured seniors could go to the dentist without facing costly bills. Now this section is essentially saying that right now seniors who don't fill out the proper paperwork in time to receive benefits like the GIS and OAS, well, they are at risk of losing these benefits, and they say that they want to put in place a 1-year delay to help seniors at risk of having their GIS benefits suspended for being unable to make the required income statement. So essentially just making sure that people don't fall through the cracks as easily if they're not able to produce the right documents to support their GIS claims. Now again, they lean on a promise that they're making for all Canadians and explain how it could help seniors, saying that many seniors are actually caregivers for other family members, and the change that they want to make is to the Canada Caregiver Tax Credit. The change they want to make is that currently the Canada Caregiver Tax Credit is non-refundable, and they want to make it refundable. Now, to give you a quick overview of what that means is when a tax credit is not refundable, that means that if the tax credit were to bring your income below zero, well, you don't get that money back. It just brings your income tax down to zero, and as a result, the amount of income tax you have to pay at tax time down to zero. Now, if they were to make the change to refundable, if this tax credit were to bring your income below zero, well, you'd actually get paid back by the government instead of just reducing the taxes that you need to pay down to zero, if that makes sense. So in short, this would only really affect people at the lowest income because it only affects people who can bring their income down to zero with all the various tax credits and refunds that are available to them. And the final change that they were looking to make here is really about another promise that they've made, one of their larger promises for the election, and that it is to make housing more accessible for all Canadians, and they're saying, hey, that also includes seniors. And finally, the newly released Liberal plan for seniors, and it's going to be interesting to take a look at, especially given the drama that's been around the Liberals' treatment of seniors over the past while. Most recently, the changes that are being applied to OAS only affecting seniors aged 75 and up, essentially creating two classes of seniors, 65 to 75 and 75 plus. Many seniors were quite upset about that, along with the drama around the CERB and the CRB, making it so that people who are on OAS are receiving far less this year because of the income they received from the CERB. Now let's take a look. They don't address these issues directly, but there are some changes here to OAS and GIS. So let's take a closer look. Now on this one page in the plan that addresses senior supports, they spend essentially over half of the page talking about, hey, here's all the things we've done for you since 2015, listing off a variety of changes that they've made, included in which are the things I just mentioned, like the old age security change to 75 plus, as well as the one-time payment that went out to certain individuals over 75. Again, that $500 payment on August 16th, 2021. But when we zoom in, we can find out what they're actually proposing to change, and they say this here, that a re-elected Liberal government would move forward with their plan to boost the OAS by 10% next year for seniors 75 and over, so they're not backtracking on that creation of two classes of seniors. But here's a new announcement. They also want to increase the GIS for the lowest income seniors by $500 for single seniors and $750 for couples starting at age 65. Now, it sounds like this would be on a yearly basis that change is made, certainly not $500 or $750 more per month than it currently is. This would likely be on a yearly basis. They also want to increase the Canada Pension Plan Survivors Benefit by 25%, bringing the maximum that you could receive from that from just under $2,000 all the way up to just under $2,200 every year. So there's a change. And then also, again, they're focusing on helping seniors and people with disability live at home. And it looks like the decision to delay their budget was an opportunity for the Liberals to take a closer look at the other parties' plans, because it seems here that they're taking a page from the Conservatives, saying that they're going to double the home accessibility tax credit to $20,000, putting up to $1,500 back in the pockets of Canadians who need it. Again, the Conservatives, if you remember what we covered earlier, said, hey, the home accessibility tax credit is $10,000 per person in the house instead of a $10,000 maximum per household. And the Liberals just say, hey, we're just going to make the change that is $20,000 because we're assuming it's probably going to be couples, and that makes us pretty much equal to what the Conservatives promised. And here's something that I do think is a good idea, a 1-800 number to help seniors access government support with all of these programs. I'm sure if you're watching this channel, you know that it can get a little bit complex, and sometimes you need someone to explain exactly how these programs all function together, and this would provide an opportunity for seniors to have a place to go, or at the very least someone to talk to, in order to determine that they're receiving all of the things that they're entitled to receive. But that just about covers all of the changes, plans, and promises leading into this election from the three front-running parties. Let me know what you think of them down there in the comment section. By the way, mark your calendar for September 9th at 9 p.m. That's going to be the election debate. We'll have live coverage right here on the channel. And September 20th, of course, election day, when we're gonna, of course, have live coverage on the channel as well. But let me know what you think of all of this in the description. And while you're down there, check out the Canada Money Mastery program. Talk about building wealth in Canada all throughout that course, and check it out before the price goes up. And with all of that said, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really hope this video helped you out at least a little bit, and I'll see you next time.